almost a little too warm for some, though.
Oh, well, I wonder who that some is.
And of course, those drastic temperature differences, you're really splitting the country in two. We've got extreme cold, which I know you enjoy.
Oh, man, I'm so thankful that I'm in the warm part of that split.
Right. Yes, it's almost a little too warm for some, though.
Oh, well, I wonder who that some is. Okay, so let's talk about today's big deal. We've got a dangerous winter storm in with. So if you were like, I don't know how much I need to prepare for this storm, I would prepare. It's better to be safe than sorry. Take a look at some of these impressive totals. You can see some of those higher numbers north of that I-90 corridor, 18 to 24 inches across southern portions of Minnesota, Minneapolis, maybe a foot to a foot and a half, and then you can see the snow gradient really falls off quickly. Now, we are having a large swath of heavy snow, but it's really confined to the northern tier here. So if you're just outside of that snow footprint, you're not seeing nearly as much. The bright pink indicative of the blizzard warning, we're talking about maybe winds 50 miles an hour with those gusts, greatly reduced visibility. Of course, that snow coming down in a big way as well. Winter storm watches, winter storm warnings are out currently, and that is going to last until we're done with Winter Storm Olive. We've got so many different ingredients coming together. You know that cookie that has like everything? It's like a peanut butter cookie, but then it has like chocolate chips and walnuts and everything. That's basically what Winter Storm Olive is, but like not good. Like maybe you threw in, I don't know. What's something you don't want in a cookie?
Peanut butter?
Well, Alex doesn't like peanut butter, so that doesn't count. It's like someone threw in edamame in your cookie. That's what Winter Storm Olive is, basically. So we've got our strong upper winds, enhanced upper lift. I really love peanut butter. It's one thing that Alex and I strongly disagree on. We've got a zone of heavy snow. It's spreading eastward, and the icy mix. That's what concerns me. The rain, the cold rain, that's not fun. The snow and the blizzard, that can also get dangerous. But when you're talking about ice, man, that's not at all what you want. We've got this really tight pressure gradient. All these white lines that you see here, we call those isobars. And when they're packed tightly, closely like that, that's indicative of really gusty winds. And that's what you're getting when you've got a strong high pressure and a strong low pressure really close to each other. So take a look at some of these winds. Watch how they pick up as the snow moves through overnight tonight and into early Wednesday. 40, 50 mile per hour gusts, especially where we've got some of that ice on the trees and those winds gusting. Alex, I'd be prepared for power outages in those areas because it could get really gusty and really icy for that. Now, how do you prepare for this? Because typically when we think of seasons, right, we're like, we're all in this together, but this winter has been so crazy. Winter has not been wintering, depending on where you are. Because if you're in Great Falls dealing with Winter Storm Olive, -5 and cloudy, that's what you got. But if in your, geez, it's a rough speaking morning. If you're in Orlando this morning, 90 degrees is where you're headed, mostly sunny skies. We're talking about a 95-degree difference, but then that's not even factoring in the wind chill and what it feels like with the humidity. So you're really talking about probably an even bigger feels like spread between those two cities. So what season you're experiencing right now is largely just a product of where you are in the country. Take a look at the high temperature forecast today for a place like, say, Minneapolis, 19, nice and chilly out there for you. Meanwhile, in Jacksonville, 81, 88 in Dallas. You guys are sweating it out. This is definitely not late February weather. This is more like, I'd say late April, even May weather for a lot of these cities. Today, we're going to be 26 degrees warmer than average for Dallas, Atlanta, 14 degrees warmer, stretching up through D.C. as well. Meanwhile, Minneapolis, you're significantly colder than you typically would be for this time of year. So we've got the dueling seasons going on. We certainly have many, many more people looking at above average temperatures because that cold air is really sticking to the northern tier. We see that expand by Wednesday, 86 million with temperatures below average, but still way more people feeling spring-like than winter-like. Here's what's going on. Quick look at the setup. We've got this upper low. It's going to swing through, and that is going to bring us some significant weather across the western portions of the country. Alex?
Absolutely, indeed. Well, you know what? We've got a snow system to the north,
yeah,
and then, of course, the severe threat farther south.
It's like we should be gearing up for severe season. Instead, it's just been one big glob.
Long, continuous,
It's not
Before
like...
you know it, it'll be April, May, where we really get into the heart of it, right? But it'll be like, well, nothing's changed.
We've been doing it, yeah, exactly. Everyone will be exhausted by then.
Absolutely. All right, well, yesterday was all about loving our pets. It was National Love Your Pet Day here for us. I don't.
I don't either.
Huh.
Man, we're two great ones to talk about.
Exactly. I'd love to have one, though.
Really?
But, yeah.
What would you have?
Oh, definitely a dog.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd probably have a hamster.
You do like hamsters.
I do like hamsters.
We'll work on that.
We'll work on it.
All right. So we were asking you, what weather does your pet love? And actually, some pictures were coming in.
I bet she loves cuddles. She looks like she likes.
Yeah, and that's a very cuddly dog as well. Love it, love it. Thanks so much for the comments and the pictures as well.
This is going to be a city to watch during Winter Storm Olive. We're standing virtually in Commons Park, where the green and surrounding areas will soon be covered with snow, and lots of it.
And yeah, piling up. Olive moving in later today, and then the snow is just going to linger for the next couple of days. Now, by the time Olive is done, we could be talking about more than a foot of snow covering the ground.
A large swath across the northern tier of really impressive snowfall totals, particularly in Minneapolis. We're talking about. So here's the thing about Minneapolis. We're already well above average in terms of our snowfall. You guys don't need any more this season, but you're going to get a significant amount.
Yeah, this is part of the country where we've had winter. There's some areas where it's been like, where's winter? No, this is not an area where they've been asking that question. And now we get slammed again. I mean, we're in that 14, 15, 16, 17, maybe even up to 20 inches when it comes to the snow adding up here through our Thursday. A lot of snow to add on to what we've already seen this season.
Yeah, that's the type of snow that you want to make sure you're prepared for, because you might be stuck for a little while. It's not just, about you and whether you can get out. It's what do the roads look like? What are the stores even open? Can people get to the stores to open them? So you want to be prepared in advance. You can see some of that heavy snow really kicking in as we head through tomorrow afternoon.
That's the thing. We'll see snow sneak in today, but it really doesn't crank up for real, until we get to kind of Wednesday. That's when the storm system really gets going. So you can see, and here's Minneapolis as we head on through this afternoon. Snow kind of in that light to slightly moderate range when it comes to the snowfall rates. But look what happens as we get into our Wednesday.
Ooh,
and we're in it for several hours.
You're talking about hours and hours. So when you're looking at that and you're seeing those bars going up into the heavy snow, and then the winds are 30, 40, 50 miles an hour, that's no visibility. That's, if you're out there, you're just kind of stuck. You're just out of luck.
Yeah, absolutely. So you may be wondering, okay, how much snow is that in comparison to sort of history? We're here in Minneapolis. We're looking at sort of the top 5 one-day snow totals that we've seen. Again, this is going to be falling over several days, but the top one is 11.8 inches there for us. But look at the top 5 all-time 3-day snowfall totals. You can see we are approaching that. We probably won't make the top 5.
Yeah.
But top 10 is within reach.
Can you imagine 3 days worth of snow and you end up with, what, nearly 3 feet of snow?
It's a lot.
I'd be like, I'm just staying in here until the spring.
Right.
Like, I'm just going to stay, right?
Yeah, so really be prepared. This is a system to not mess around with. If you don't have to be heading out and about, please make sure you're just staying inside.
Yeah.
Now, it's not just Minneapolis having to deal with this system. We've got a
place to just stay in, because it's not just about you. If you're out and you get trapped, then someone has to come save you. So the best bet is to stay in. When you're talking about a foot of snow or more, winds at 40, 50 miles an hour, you really know those are going to become treacherous conditions. Here's the forecast around Green Bay. About a foot. This is going to be along that 41 and 43 corridor, that snow adding up. In Green Bay, you'll notice we will start to see a little bit of that light snow falling as we head through the evening and overnight hours, but watch what happens. We really see that snow intensity picking up as we head through Wednesday and into Thursday, and those winds gusting around 30 miles an hour peak Wednesday night through early Thursday morning. So if you're like, oh, I don't know, I think I'll be fine to head to work Thursday morning, probably not. Your commute is definitely going to be impacted. So let's time it out for you. Again, starting a little bit today. Wednesday, we're in the thick of it. Thursday morning, we're in the thick of it. Thursday afternoon, it's still sticking around before it finally starts to clear out late Thursday afternoon and into the evening. Heading to Traverse City now, where double-digit snowfall certainly expected. We're going to see that stretching all across northern Michigan up into the UP as well. So we have a lot of snow coming for the northern tier. You guys are definitely getting in on that winter weather. Wednesday, we're in it a bit. It's kind of like on and off early on, and then Wednesday, we're really stuck in it throughout the day into the nighttime hours. Got more on this coming up. All winter. It's been so much more spring-like, and I'm going to venture to say that a lot of us are going to be feeling summer-like.
Yeah.
If you're not dealing with Winter Storm Olive, it feels more like the summer. So let's talk about Winter Storm Olive, because of course that's much more impactful for a lot of people than, say, temperatures that feel like May. But we'll get to that in a second. Winter Storm Olivis has such a big footprint. You can see all the winter alerts that we have going on. The bright pinks indicative of blizzard warnings because we're going to have wind along with this system, greatly reduced visibility, winter storm warnings, winter storm watches, and you can see a lot of this happening over western portions of the country and then stretching through the northern tier. I just checked the OBS in Bismarck, and you've got winds at about 9 miles an hour coming out of the east, just light snow currently, but it feels like -15. So yeah, you're really already feeling that. You can see all of the snow that's going to continue filling in. Eventually, we're going to see really heavy snow. We're going to see really gusty winds, and this is going to be an incredibly impactful system. I do think it could get in the way of any traveling a lot of people are doing for this early part of the week. Watch how this becomes much more widespread. We really just see a huge precipitation footprint with this entire system. From the Pacific Northwest down through the Four Corners region, across the Rockies, we're seeing that snow adding up. Places like Casper and Denver and Billings, you're stuck in this for hours. But even as you can start to see this kind of thinning out, we still, along the West Coast, are seeing that precipitation coming in the form of some rain, but also in the form of snow. Now, for so long we were talking about just the drought across this part of the country, and we've said it a million times. We'll take any type of precipitation we can get, but some of these places are really have gone above and beyond in terms of their snowfall so far this winter season. Again, a swath of maybe 1.5 to 2 feet across southern Minnesota. Even then, though, 8 to 12 inches. So there will be a lot of focus that goes straight to that pink, but 8 to 12 inches of snow along this corridor, along that, especially north of that 90 corridor, man, that's still really impactful, Alex. If you've got 8 to 12 inches of snow, you're probably stuck inside for at least a day.
Yeah, you said it. Don't want to when it comes to our winter storm. Of course, it's going to bring a big swath of some pretty hefty snows, but the one thing that we don't like is the ice, and there could be a whole lot of ice in a few areas.
It just causes so many problems. The snow, of course, like it can be problematic, but the ice and the setup that we're going to have for ice, this is what makes forecasting it so hard. This is one of my least favorite parts of meteorology because where that freezing line ends up makes all the difference.
All the difference. I mean, it could be dealing with either snow here for us or plain old rain and anything in between, and just a degree or two makes such a difference in the world. And it's not just about what the temperature is at the surface, it's what's happening upstairs which makes all the difference out there. So we're gonna be watching a zone set up where we do see some ice out there, and we could be talking about some pretty serious ice. In fact, there could be some zones that see over 3/4 of an inch of ice, which would be a crippling situation.
Yeah, when you're talking about that amount of ice, so widespread tree damage, long-term power outages, but also the winds that we're going to have along with this system, you've got two ingredients coming together that are prime for power outages. I can't stress this enough. If you're in this area along 94 corridor between, say, Kalamazoo and Detroit, where you see over 3/4 of an inch possible, be prepared for long-term power outages. And impossible travel.
Yeah, forget traveling. Yeah, you just can't travel on that kind of icing. And even back towards the west, where we have the potential for damaging icing from northern portions of Illinois into Iowa, we're going to watch that area closely as well. Not just there, but even the Northeast gets in on some of this icing as well.
Guys, we can't overstate how dangerous it is. And I know you know this, but there's just nothing you can do with ice. It doesn't matter how great of a driver you are. You can't drive on it. You can't be out and about. So you want to be prepared for this. Now, of course, that's coming a little later for the Northeast. It fills in a little later there. But nonetheless, better to go ahead and be prepared so you're not standing at the grocery store and you're like, oh, everyone else already bought all of the bread.
Right, exactly. But you can see what the ice can do. Just a half an inch of that ice increases the weight of a power line by up to 500 pounds. So it just weighs down. And then, Felicia, you talked about the winds that are going to be coming in, which just makes matters worse. Trees snap, power lines come down, and again, it could be some time before things get back up and running.
Yeah, definitely a prolonged period of power outages possible. That's hard to say. Prolonged period of power outages possible.
Oh, you almost did it.
I almost did it. Okay, so let's do our pick city of the day now, because started out the weekend of Mardi Gras a little bit cool, and then it warmed up by Sunday. Yesterday was nice and warm. Look at that forecast for today. 78, 80 sticking around, really above average. We got our beads, and these are birthday beads.
Though. It's just beads. Doesn't matter.
Beads. I almost leaned right into that one. If you would have taken my eyeball out,
it would have been comedy gold, right?
Yeah, so Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy Fat Tuesday.
And good pick there, New Orleans, one of a favorite city to enjoy and visit. Great food there, too.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, my goodness. All right, well, here's my pick.
And the other portion of the country. So if you're not experiencing winter, you're basically in like late spring or summer. So take your pick. We've got dueling seasons going on. This is the population with temperatures above 70 degrees. Now keep in mind, 70 degrees might not sound like a lot, but if you are in the sunshine and it is higher than 70 degrees, it's actually feeling kind of hot out there. And we've got millions of people with temperatures above average and above 70 degrees. Here's our forecast for today. 80 in Charleston, 75 in Raleigh and Montgomery, 78 in New Orleans. These temperatures are so far progressed in the year. This is what we should be in late April, May, June in some cases for some of the temperatures that we're going to see. Tomorrow we've got potential record highs, so it's not just, oh, we're kind of above average. We're talking about setting new records, smashing old records. For instance, tomorrow in Lexington, Kentucky, the old record, the old high temperature record is 70 degrees, but we could get up to 75. Nashville, you're smashing that record of 74. Meanwhile, Atlanta, we're getting really close. I don't think we'll break it, but we might tie it. Memphis, the forecast for you, 77. The old record, 76. Mobile, 79. Your old record, 81. Orlando, 89 is the forecast. And you know it's going to feel hotter than that. You know you're going to have the humidity as well. D.C., tomorrow we're looking at 52. So, you know, tomorrow, what is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Wednesday. So tomorrow, 52, kind of cloudy, not a great day. But Thursday, mostly sunny, 81. I'd call that a great day. Alex, I don't know if you'd call that a great day, but I would. Which would you take, 52 and cloudy or 81 and mostly sunny?
That's a tough one. Is it
Really?
82? Is it 81 and muggy?
Yeah, there's a slight mug. Like a little mug.
Ooh, see, for this time of the year, I'm going 52. Now, if it
Ooh.
was the middle of July, give me the 81.
Okay, all right, I'll take that.
Yeah, makes a difference.
Agree to disagree.
Right.
People aggressively throwing anything if it's not on a baseball or softball field, it gives me anxiety because I'm like, why are you so mad? Why are you throwing so hard?
It's just the energy. You got to get the energy into the throw.
I don't like aggression. Can we all just be friends on that note?
That stuff seemed like that was a lot of oranges. I wonder how much they used.
Very wasteful. I don't like it. Anyways, I like this. Happy Tuesday.
Yes.
Thanks for hanging out with us on America's Morning Headquarters. We're getting you through the mid-morning hours. And of course, the Weather Channel helping you plan for the big events ahead. And that includes Winter Storm Olive.
Yeah, it's a big one that we're going to be watching across the nation. Also keeping an eye out for some severe storms. I mean, what would it be this winter without the threat for some severe weather? And it's not just the South, but the Northeast getting into the threat zone here for that risk for some severe. And then, of course, we got the drastic temperature differences really splitting the country in two. We got the extreme cold and then the heat. And we do mean heat because it's going to be hot in some places.
There's nowhere where we have just like mundane nothing going on. Either you're really in the winter or you're really in like the spring, like summer. So if you want to see where Winter Storm Olive is really getting going, we found it.